Shalom, people of God. I come to give you today the revelation of June 6, 2020. It was 10 a.m. during the Sabbath service, and when we began the Sabbath, there was a deployment of angels throughout the room. In fact, a few meters from the entrance of the door, before even arriving in the middle of the room, there was an angel standing there, who had his two hands extended like that and had very sparkling bubbles. I don't know how to explain that to you. His hands were extended like that, and while they were extended he released bubbles, and these bubbles purified the room and also the people at the same time. These brightening bubbles shone with beautiful light and shimmered, and this angel was seen again in a very long white dress. It was a very beautiful long white tunic, and when I looked at the whole room, this angel was not alone, for there were other angels too. Each one of them was busy doing his task. They had been sent by the Lord of Hosts, God the Father, on a mission, so each one fulfilled his task in order to return to the Lord to report and give accounts in heaven after the service. It was something like that which happened, and I also saw another angel in particular who was holding something like a device that looked like a cell phone, but at least 20 to 25 centimeters long, and 8 centimeters wide, and this device was used to scan each person who was in the room. So when a person enters the church, the angel stood in front of the person and he puts the device in front of the person, and it allows him to scan the number of sins that are in the person. In the device it was displayed the number of sin, the type of sin, and the names of the sin. The information was in details. That's how he checked the spiritual state of each one of us in the room. And I also noticed that compared to the 18 sins, which make 666, there were several souls on the device. Because apart from us in the room, he was also led to scan other people elsewhere than in the room, and when he scanned other people, I noted that the sins displayed were in relation to these 18 sins. 2 Timothy 3 verse 1. But mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people. There were other souls who were already marked spiritually, that is to say by one or more of these sins. They were believers who had overcome many sins and were left fighting against a single sin to get out of spiritual bondage. This single sin was like the loop. In fact, it was like the loop of a chain, and when this person fought to leave this sin, the Lord erased it. At a given moment when the person who has the chain of sin fights and has not yet received the intervention of the hand of God to remove this sin from his life, and that the person relaxed, this single sin, which was like a loop, gave birth to other sins, so it was now several loops. As you see, the chains have several loops. These chains of sin basically were like in the time of slavery. It was big chains like that. I noticed that when the person repented of his sins again, all these sins were erased, and this was our case in the church. Since we were in the phase of repentance, the numbers were erased because the sins in this device were represented in numbers. If for example the person had 3 sins, it also marked 3 sins, and so on. After that the pastor began to preach on the basis of Acts of the Apostles chapter 16 from verse 16, and while I was getting ready to note the preaching, I heard the voice of a celestial being. It was one of the 24 elders. He told me, instead of writing the preaching, we are gonna work, and that's when he gave me a theme on which he had to teach me, and the theme was signs and colors. And the elder said this to me: Anne, when you see the men of this world making signs with their fingers or their feet, know that they release a very large quantity of demons and curse on earth and the people of this world. At the moment they do these hand signs, the abode of death widens its mouth, because their practices must result in human or animal sacrifices. The elder asked me, Anne, do you know why there are 4 colors in occultism? The white color, the yellow color, the red color, and the black color. Brethren, it is true that perhaps some people have never asked themselves that question, but I personally was doing research for 2 or 3 years where I was trying to dig on the 4 colors in relation to the 4 horsemen of Revelation chapter 6, the black, white, red and the pale rider. Glory be to the Lord who sent one of the 24 elders to give me some clarifications. He first asked the question, why these 4 colors in occultism? In order to create the system of magical powers, Lucifer resorted to the 4 colors of the 4 riders of the end time. He attributed to this system of magic the color of 4 horsemen of revelation. And so when we hear by red magic, yellow magic, black magic, white magic, Satan therefore used the colors of these 4 horsemen there to create these magic. This is what this elder explained to me, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, one of the 4 beasts saying, "Come and see," and I saw behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. The elder told me, the white color come from to the white horseman of the apocalypse, who is the angel of light. This prince is in charge of white magic. This form of magic is the simplest and it emanates from the spirits of water. Those who practice it are very passive and know how to be patient. Satan deceives them by telling them that they are holy, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see," and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. The red horseman of the end time is the prince in charge of red magic that many call red dragon magic. This form of magic is very dangerous. Those who practice it have no regard for anyone because Satan lies to them that they are the most powerful on earth. They like to shed human blood, drink human blood and eat human flesh. They are very sneaky, very resentful and very mean. They do not forgive and are animated by spirits of vengeance. You will find in this group Satanists and all types of sects. This is their origin. When he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see," and I beheld and lo a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. The elder said to me, all occult sciences have their origin in black magic. All occultists are part of this group. They like to study the sciences that relate to spiritual things to acquire more knowledge, believing that they will obtain more power, but the more they dig in this direction the more they empty themselves of their interiors and never get satisfaction. And when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, "Come and see," and I looked and behold a pale oar, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. The elder told me, the pale horse is the prince in charge of yellow magic, who is the angel of death. Satan lied to those who practice this magic that their powers have no limit. These practitioners like to eat impure things. They are satiated with abominations. They like dirt and feel good when they are dirty. In this group most often you will find traditional practitioners, sorcerers and some magicians. Red magic come from the red horsemen of the end time.